let's do a little role play. Pretend you're a pencil pusher in the Disney marketing department. You're sitting at your desk, and the order comes in. You're tasked with making character posters for the new Little Mermaid movie. Wow, this is going to be great! You grew up watching Little Mermaid, you have a couple ideas immediately. But then, the assets come in, and you see this. Now, usually you just do your job and stay quiet, but you pipe up a bit here. You ask your boss if maybe you can get a different render, perhaps one with more color, or maybe one that's more of a silhouette to hide the human lips the character has. Your boss says, "No time. This looks fine. Just add the requested text to it." You then ask if we can just scrap this character poster entirely and just have only the humanoid characters on the posters. Those characters actually have some pretty decent shots here, and these uncanny abominations could dissuade people. Your boss says, "Listen, kid, we need at least 5 different posters in the theater hallway so people remember to go see it. People need to see an ad at least 5 times for it to stick in their head." That's advertising 101. And anyway, so what if people think they're weird? Gets people talking, it drives up engagement. We know what we're doing, okay? You accept defeat and apply a royal font to the poster as if the fish are selling bags at Louis Vuitton. When I saw this poster, I was out. If they couldn't bother to make a still image of this fish look visually appealing, why would I blow $15 to see it in motion? This movie may have been the best Disney movie of all time, but from this point forward, I, and many others, didn't care enough to find out. And as I alluded to, there's gotta be at least one person who helped make this image who also felt that way, but simply had to do their job because they didn't have the pull to make any drastic changes. So I feel for you, person in the cubicle farm. And yet, in many ways, this nameless person had it easy. They're just a cog in the machine. If the movie is a hit, they can say they helped. If it flops, they can say they were helpless. The real struggle comes from the writer, director, or producer who actually does have a position of power, but has to check off all these boxes before they can propose any sort of actual, unique artistic vision for their movie. It has to please Disney, meaning not only does it have to make a profit and stay within a reasonable budget, but it also has to be marketable and compatible with spin-offs, crossovers, and merchandise. It has to please foreign markets like China, keep it clean, tone down the supernatural stuff, and for God's sake, get Melissa McCarthy on the phone. It has to please people who loved the original and want the same narrative beats and catchy songs. It has to please people who don't want to see the same movie twice. New narrative beats, new songs, and something beyond just old animated movie but live action now. If and only if the 4 horsemen of the movie remake remain sated, are you allowed to consider some creative decisions of your own. But those of you paying close attention may have noticed that points 3 and 4 are a bit at odds with one another. I mean, how can you make a movie that tries to emulate everything you loved about the original, while at the same time tries to be a brand new experience you shouldn't miss out on?
Yeah, good. And also, you should win things by watching.
You kids don't know what you want. That's why you're still kids, 'cause you're stupid.
The truth is, you can't. At least, not with a film like this. See, Little Mermaid already had a very tight script. The characters were strong, the songs were great. It didn't have to be any longer than it was, but it didn't really have bloat either. In short, it doesn't really need to be remade. You could probably modernize or slim down certain aspects of the script, but these would be minor changes and wouldn't warrant an entire new retelling. So what can you do? Is just changing the whole story to live action really enough?
The newt play the flute, the cop play the harp, the players play the bass, and they sounding sharp.
The newt play the flute, the cop play the harp, the players play the bass, and they sounding sharp.
No, certainly not. And everyone knows it. Live action is a straight downgrade to animation with these kinds of stories. You've got magic, you've got talking animals, you've got crabs with teeth, You've got wacky, cartoonish vignettes and plot points. Many of the songs are designed around fantastical elements and set pieces that rely on suspension of disbelief. I mean, look at this. Simba is like on a pyramid of animals. You just can't do that with live action. Either it looks completely uncanny or it just doesn't live up to the original animation. So straight out of the gate, the one differentiating factor that live action has is that it's a worse medium. So, as the writer, director, producer, whatever, you're in a really tough situation. You have these valuable IPs sitting around, you want to squeeze some extra cash out of them. You got people at the top of the company pushing live action as a medium, but the source material just doesn't fit live action. They probably considered making drastic changes to the script to better fit it to live action, like, I don't know, talking animals, right? They're creepy, so what if we got rid of them and maybe replaced them with other mermaids or something, right? Maybe have more underwater scenes of Ariel, like at school or at home, and, you know, she like hanging out with her friends, she pulls out the fork out of her backpack and shows them, and they're like giggling, you know, and like trying to guess what it does, and then, oh, here comes the headmaster mermaid or whatever, and gotta put it behind your back, you know. I don't know. The point is, changing the script in a big way, even if it fits the medium better, is a huge monetary risk reliant on a great writer. Disney wasn't willing to take that risk, so they opted instead to change the races and genders of certain characters. Hey, you know, why not? It could make the live-action version stand out without tampering with the tried-and-true script too much. Now, I don't blame them for doing this, and I don't have a problem with the actress who plays Ariel. Disney is a business, and they are competing with a lot of different sources of entertainment for your attention. So, of course, they're scared, and they want to reduce risk as much as possible. However, I do think that Disney was setting this girl up for failure. When you have a beloved character from people's childhoods with iconic, beautifully animated red hair, people will inevitably get pissed off if you tamper with it. See, your childhood was the best years of your life. Life was simple, innocence was intact, death wasn't sneaking up behind you, and you were happier. When you reflect fondly on these old animated movies like Little Mermaid, it's not just the movie, it's your old house, it's your old friends, it's grabbing a juice box from the fridge, it's Legos on the coffee table while Under the Sea is playing. And when someone comes along and tries to replace that movie, it can feel like they're trying to overwrite your childhood, or, at the very least, dilute that magic that you felt. The frustration really stems from the Disney higher-ups wanting the exact same script and character in the first place. I would have loved to see her as a new mermaid in a completely different setting instead. Like, maybe you could have the Ariel we know as a cameo appearance, but this new mermaid character goes off on her own different adventure. You know, go all out, commit, have the setting and characters be wildly different. How about like a winter movie maybe, you know, maybe something in the Arctic near like South Africa, or, you know, maybe something else, maybe something in Asian waters with like an Asian mermaid. I know the current Disney would view this as a huge risk, so they would never do it. But it can be done.
Like, what's up, danger?
Miles is not Peter. If he was literally Peter Parker but black, that would be an inferior character compared to what we got. It would be a character that has all the same baggage of Peter, right? The same girlfriend, the same aunt, the same personality, the same backstory. Miles being his own character allows the writers to do whatever they want and to fit the story to who Miles is.
Can't stop me now. Travel 200 miles, I'm knocking at your door. And I don't really care if you ain't your
And the others are great too. You know, they bring so much of their own personalities to the story with so little screen time, and it all feels completely organic. They could have done something similar with this new movie. No reason to overwrite the previous character and pigeonhole this new character with that same backstory, same motivations, right? Little Mermaid does not need a reboot, okay? I go to the store to buy my daughter's supplies for preschool. What do I see? Ariel plastered all over everything. Come on now. Okay. Look, I gotta be real with you. The movie I really want to talk about is Princess and the Frog. This movie is so good. Have you guys seen this movie? I really enjoyed it a lot. I saw it for the first time on a plane a few weeks ago, and I was so surprised by how delightful it was. I watched it again when I got home. Remember our photoshopping friend from earlier in the video? Yeah, well, his offices really screwed up the marketing for this movie. Look at this poster. Most people who are on the fence, they're gonna take one quick look at this poster, see the princess in the swamp with the frog, and they're gonna move on with their lives. Guys are gonna be like, ew, a mushy gushy Polly Prissy Pants love story. Girls are gonna be like, ew, a frog. And everyone in between is gonna be like, how the hell are you gonna turn a girl kissing a frog into a feature-length film? And why should I care? And then look at this trailer.
In the tradition of Walt Disney's most beloved classics comes the story behind the most magical kiss.
The vibe that I get from this trailer is something like Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty, where I'm going to go back in time to the 20th century and watch a slow, dated, idyllic princess love story, but with a black lady. When in reality, the film is nothing like that at all. In general, I appreciate being surprised and having story information concealed from me, and I think in that respect, the marketing does a good job of hiding where the story goes. But there's a difference between hiding the story and outright false advertising. This movie has more in common with Aristocats than Cinderella. In fact, it mostly reminded me of one of my favorite Disney movies.
Oh, yeah.
You've got like a down-on-their-luck, kind-hearted working person who's just trying to do right by their family.
Just follow the signs. Oh, great. Thanks a lot.
This is it. I'm getting my restaurant.
About that,
You outbid.
What?
Booyah! Welcome to Cusco-topia.
You've got a douche in a position of power who makes empty promises to that person and has to grow as a person. And you've got a magic, undead-looking villain with their bumbling sidekick trying to take out the douche and grab power for themselves.
Sorry, I'm late. Oh, what'd I miss?
Well, Yzma just tossed me this knife and asked me to,
But while Emperor's New Groove is a straight comedy, Princess and the Frog has a lot more going on. It deals with love and loss, how sometimes you can work hard on something, pour all your passion and free time into it, and try your best, and things just don't work out for you. It takes the original story's moral, how you shouldn't judge people based on their looks, and matures it. Because the truth is, sometimes people will judge you unfairly, based on things you can't control, and there's nothing you can do about it. But if you keep pushing and share your journey of life with others, you can still achieve happiness. The movie ain't perfect, but it's damn good. Disney should be ashamed that a movie with such a fantastic setting, memorable villain, empathetic side characters, and charming leads was essentially left to die. The marketing of this movie has got to be one of the greatest marketing failures of all time, because not only did it bomb this movie, but it led to this cascading effect where Disney practically ceased 2D animated movies in favor of CGI animation and live action only. How different would things have been if this movie's name, poster, and trailer were more reflective of the actual movie? Would we still be seeing 2D animation? It's hard to say, but I'd like to think so. We are starving for new, well-planned out stories and characters. Your current strategy of milking existing IPs saw a lot of success. Definitely. But people are getting fatigued, and it's making people lose hope and move on to other ways to entertain themselves. For every mediocre movie that people get burned on, the less likely people are to take a chance on something new, you know? There's just there's too much trash to sort through. Hey, remember the Disney Vault? It was this thing during the VHS days. Disney would do this thing where they would create artificial scarcity for their movies.
Don't you wish you'd bought the video cassette of Lady and the Tramp when you had the chance? Now it's gone, and time is running out to add Cinderella to your collection. But you still have a chance to own 2 of Disney's most delightful animated classics, The Magical Peter Pan and the Academy Award-winning The Little Mermaid. Still available, but only for a limited time. Don't let Peter Pan and The Little Mermaid get away.
They're clearly trying to channel some sort of premium brand with these character posters and fonts. I really wasn't joking when I said it looked like something straight out of a Louis Vuitton storefront. But, like, the difference is, when you look at the storefront, they have, like, one bag. They're not diluting the brand by having 60 different bags out there. I think Disney wants to get back to that premium status, but the advent of streaming services is causing problems for them. There's the fear that if you don't keep the buffet stocked, the clientele will leave. Disney Plus as a service is doing well, and they have some good stuff on there, but they're definitely experiencing some growing pains with how to populate their service without it feeling too cheap, too direct-to-home video.
I mean, look at this. Aladdin 4. Jafar may need glasses.
Number 1. Number 2.
I see everyone piling on this one person, this woman high up in the company named Kathleen Kennedy, who is the cause of all their problems. You know, if only she could get out, then all these films and franchises would improve drastically. But I really don't think that's the case. People just have a feeling they can't explain, a feeling that somehow there's less care being taken, and they're throwing the blame on this one person. But, like, look at this Wikipedia page, you know? Like, look at how many amazing films on here that she's had a hand in. On some level, she knows how to make a compelling product, or at the very least, she's been a part of many different teams who have. The problem is just that Disney is panicking about how to handle the streaming service stuff, how to steer the brand, and at what cadence to release things. Kathleen Kennedy is not the sole arbiter of these decisions by any means. If she actually did get fired, those core problems would still be there. So it's a tough idea to consider, but slow down the releases. Make them feel like an event again, instead of a visit to the eye doctor.
Yeah, they're pretty much... Can I see 5 one more time?
Take your time with them. Do more pre-production. Lots of people laughed at this image of the new Snow White movie, and with good reason. It looks like a parody from Saturday Night Live, but it's entirely possible that with more pre-production and planning, there could have been a good idea there. Lean harder into a new angle, you know? How about a Snow White set during the California Gold Rush? Maybe you've got a group of ragtag adventurers who have traveled across the country on the Oregon Trail and have discovered a new vein of gold, but then the governor's wife is trying to mess it up for them or something. Hey, you set Princess and the Frog in New Orleans and it was great. You can set Snow White in California and have her be part of a gang of miners. I don't know. Gold is just the first thing I think of when the word dwarves comes up. It doesn't have to be that. Just have people brainstorm some cool stuff. Get that trust back and put out a product that my 2-year-old daughter would be excited to show up to school wearing. You can help me achieve my dreams of making videos more often by liking and subscribing. I'm a small creator with a lot of video ideas in the cooker, but only so much time I can dedicate to this channel, so any support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.